After the Black Butcher gained enlightenment and broke through his culinary path into the source of Law realm, the completely transformed Fire Realm feast was finally served to Luo Feng and Sang Shuiyan. The moment Luo Feng tasted it, he was shocked by the improvement. Although he had frequently visited the Fire Realm restaurant before and already considered its food exceptional, the new banquet was on a completely different level. Every piece of meat was meticulously refined, nourishing his divine body while producing an astonishing stimulation to his soul that was nearly 10 times stronger than before. The experience was so enjoyable that Luo Feng repeatedly praised the dish, believing it to be the greatest delicacy he had ever tasted in Huyang City. Even Sang Shuiyan, who had lived in the city for a long time, admitted that the Black Butcher's skills had now surpassed all other chefs in Huyang City, as he was the only one who had entered eternity through the path of cooking. While enjoying the feast, Luo Feng discovered that the dish not only satisfied his appetite but also helped his cultivation. The powerful soul stimulation enhanced his comprehension and allowed his thoughts to become much clearer. Taking advantage of this state, he discussed many problems related to the third body refinement of the primal chaos great strength diagram with Sang Shuiyan. Having accumulated more than 20 years of cultivation experience, Luo Feng already possessed a profound understanding, and with Sang Shuiyan's occasional guidance, many of his long-standing confusions were quickly solved. Seeing Luo Feng's extraordinary talent in this area, Sang Shuiyan even suggested that he study artifact refining under him, as mastering the 3 body refinements was already closely connected to the path of artifact refinement. However, Luo Feng temporarily declined, saying he would seek guidance when he truly needed it, while Sang Shuiyan agreed to teach him at any time. At the same time, inside a small building of the Fire Realm restaurant, the Black Butcher was patiently waiting for his transformation to complete. Because time flowed 10.081 times faster in his small cosmos within his homeland than in the land of origin, his small cosmos soon finished its expansion. His true God's heart underwent a complete transformation, and endless divine power poured from his distant homeland into his body, causing his entire divine body to evolve to a higher level. After countless years of waiting, enduring the pressure of powerful forces in Huyang City and maintaining a humble attitude toward every customer, the Black Butcher had finally become an eternal true God. Despite his breakthrough, the Black Butcher remained very clear-headed. He understood that a newly advanced eternal true God was still vulnerable in a place filled with numerous powerful factions like Huyang City. The most important thing for him was to maintain his relationship with Luo Feng, the person whose protection had allowed him to safely accumulate resources and reach his current achievement. Therefore, immediately after his breakthrough, he went to personally thank Luo Feng. He deeply bowed and admitted that without Luo Feng's protection over the past 20 years, he would never have had the chance to gather enough resources or cultivate peacefully. Luo Feng accepted his gratitude with a smile and jokingly said that the Black Butcher could repay him by giving him discounts on meals in the future, since the restaurant's reputation would certainly soar and the prices would likely increase greatly. The Black Butcher immediately promised that Luo Feng would never need to pay for a single meal again. Luo Feng happily accepted, and Sang Shuiyan understood the true meaning behind this conversation. It was not about the cost of the meals but a public declaration that the Fire Realm restaurant belonged under Luo Feng's protection. With a powerful divine monarch standing behind him, the Black Butcher would be able to maintain his position in Huyang City without being easily bullied by larger forces. After the celebration, Luo Feng left the restaurant together with Morosa and Moyu Qingyan aboard his flying boat. The disciples of the Black Butcher were filled with excitement because their master had risen from an ordinary void space true God to an eternal true God, and their own statuses naturally increased along with him. Suo Zi, who had always chosen the humble path of learning cooking, was especially fortunate. His brother Suo Yun, who had once looked down on him for lacking ambition and refusing to fight for opportunities, could only admit that fate had unexpectedly favored him. Suo Zi, however, remained humble and credited everything to his master's achievement and their own good fortune. As his flying boat traveled through the snowy skies above Huyang City, Luo Feng looked upon the city covered in ice and mist and felt a deep attachment to it. He had chosen this frontier city after arriving in the land of origin because he wanted to experience the wider world while avoiding the attention of primal chaos overlords and godly kings. He knew that his current strength was still insufficient to confront such terrifying existences. So remaining hidden in Huyang City until he reached the primal chaos realm was the safest choice. With the insights gained from his discussion with Sang Shuiyan, Luo Feng had already developed a complete theoretical understanding of the third body refinement of the primal chaos great strength diagram. However, the materials required for the refinement were worth around 3.6 million cosmic sand, while his current wealth was only slightly more than 1 million. To gather the remaining resources, Luo Feng decided to sell one of his mechanical flow secret treasures. Among the 4 treasures he possessed, the Sha Wu wings were indispensable because of their powerful domain abilities and personal significance. The Myriad Realms Escape Command was extremely useful for survival, and the Life-Blood River still enhanced his abilities. Therefore, he chose to sell the Sword of the World's Core, whose only function was to condense primal chaos divine power, a benefit that had become unnecessary due to the superior quality of Luo Feng's perfect divine body and the support of his other treasures. Luo Feng then sent messages to the city lord's mansion and the local major forces of Huyang City, informing them of his intention to sell the Sword of the World's Core to whichever side offered the highest price. Although the treasure was useless to him, it was incredibly valuable to other eternal true gods, especially those who had already comprehended techniques of the primal chaos realm, because it could dramatically increase the destructive power of their attacks. The terrifying assassination strength of Yang Kang in the past had been largely due to this very treasure. While the major forces of Huyang City became interested in obtaining the Sword of the World's Core, another storm was quietly approaching. A dark red flying boat from the Shi Kingdom arrived secretly outside the city. Inside were 2 powerful primal chaos overlords serving Marquis Lu Yin, whose reputation and influence were considered even greater than those of the Marquis of Zhujiang, the protector behind Huyang City. The 2 had come to join forces with divine monarch Shui Yun as part of the Shi Kingdom's plan to completely seize control of Huyang City. The burly male was extremely confident in his own strength, believing that with himself, his sister, and Shui Yun combined, they would be able to overturn the entire city. However, he also considered Shui Yun too cautious and wanted to test his strength personally. If Shui Yun proved weaker than him, he intended to take command and force Shui Yun to follow his plans, signaling that a major conflict over Huyang City was about to begin. Inside an underground hall hidden within an ordinary cave mansion, divine monarch Shui Yun, disguised in a white robe and red mask, met Yushin Shu and Yushin Yi, 2 of the strongest members among the 5 gods of the Yushin clan sent by the Marquis to assist him in Huyang City. Although Yushin Yi stated that her second brother Yushin Shu was the strongest in their family and that she was not even among the top 3 of the clan, both siblings remained extremely proud. When Shui Yun suggested that they attack him together to determine leadership of their alliance, they viewed it as an insult, and Yushin Shu insisted on fighting alone. Shui Yun released a large boat secret treasure to serve as their battlefield, preventing their clash from exposing their existence. After the battle, all 3 emerged, with Shui Yun praising Yushin Shu's incredible godly body, claiming it was likely even stronger than Lord Luo He's and could rival the legendary unlimited godly bodies. However, the battle had ended with Yushin Shu's defeat. Yushin Yi was shocked that her brother, who stood at the peak of the bloodline cultivation path among eternal true gods, had lost to Shui Yun. Yushin Shu admitted that Shui Yun possessed the deepest accumulation he had ever seen among eternal true gods. During the fight, Shui Yun displayed 5 techniques derived from the primal chaos realm, making Yushin Shu suspect that he was already half a step into the primal chaos realm. Shui Yun explained that although he had been continuously accumulating power and felt increasingly close to that realm, he had remained trapped at the eternal true god level for countless years. He also revealed that he studied the law lineage to enhance his understanding of laws and further unlock the potential of his bloodline, combining both cultivation systems together. Convinced by his strength and insight, Yushin Shu and Yushin Yi agreed to follow Shui Yun's command during the mission. Shui Yun then explained that the greatest advantage of Huyang City's city owner's mansion was the Huyang City Formation, a grand formation refined and improved over generations that could greatly suppress their strength. He believed the complete formation map was most likely stored within the heavily guarded city owner's mansion, since directly attacking it was unrealistic. Their first objective was to capture the experts who had previously repaired the formation in order to obtain information about it and possibly discover the location of the complete formation map. Among the 9 living eternal true gods who had repaired the formation, 1 had already joined their side. Their targets were the remaining 7, excluding Shang Tianyan, a top artifact refining master of Huyang City and a member of the mechanical school. Shui Yun deliberately avoided targeting him because Shang Tianyan was Lord Luohe's closest friend in Huyang City, and capturing him could provoke Luohe. Yushin Shu and Yushin Yi expressed doubts about Luohe's reputation. They believed the stories of him killing Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang, destroying the Huyang Guard's mechanical stream secret treasure Purple Jade Gem with his bare hand, and possibly killing the assassin Yang Kang were exaggerated. Since nobody had witnessed his battle against Yang Kang, they suspected Luohe was merely well matched against an assassin with an ordinary godly body and was not necessarily much stronger than themselves. Shui Yun acknowledged their reasoning but emphasized that their true enemy was the city owner's mansion. Since Luohe had no interest in power or benefits, there was no need to create an unnecessary enemy or introduce an unpredictable variable into their plans. The siblings agreed, and the 3 began carefully planning how to capture the 7 eternal true gods. 10 days later, under the night sky of Huyang City, Luo Feng sat atop his mountain cave mansion while negotiating the sale of the mechanical stream secret treasure, the sword of the world's core. He contacted only Mo Li Meng and Zhu Yu but intentionally made them believe that multiple forces were competing for the treasure. Mo Li Meng initially offered 1.5 million cosmic sand, while Zhu Yu offered 1.3 million. The bidding continued as Zhu Yu represented a mysterious and powerful woman known as Lord Wei, a hidden expert whom even the Zhu clan feared. Following Lord Wei's instructions, Zhu Yu gradually increased the bid until it reached 2 million cosmic sand. Lord Wei declared that this was her final price, believing that a mechanical stream secret treasure capable of condensing primal chaos divine power was worth such a cost. Luo Feng accepted the offer, and the sword of the world's core was sold to Lord Wei for 2 million cosmic sand. Lord Wei refused to personally meet Luo Feng when he came to deliver the treasure to the Zhu clan, preferring to keep her identity hidden. Meanwhile, at the city owner's mansion, several divine power incarnations discussed the auction. Some believed Luo Feng had intentionally raised the price too high and refused to buy the treasure, expecting him to eventually lower the price. However, Mo Li Meng informed them that the sword of the world's core had already been sold for 2 million cosmic sand, leaving the white-haired elder and the others shocked. Luo Feng brought Morosa to the Zhu clan's cave mansion, as they were both located within the primal chaos armor sector. Upon seeing the enormous defensive formation protecting the mansion, Luo Feng was amazed by its power, considering it the strongest formation he had seen in Huyang City. Even the assassin Yang Kang would be unable to force his way through it. After over 20 years of cultivation, Luo Feng had greatly increased his strength, but he estimated that he could only break through such a formation by burning his divine power. Zhu Yu explained that nearly all the Zhu clan's core members lived there, so they had invested an enormous amount of karmic luck into creating an almost impregnable fortress. Inside the mansion, Luo Feng met Patriarch Zhu Hu, a renowned figure in Huyang City whose status was comparable to Mo Li Xiao and divine monarch Shui Yun. The two exchanged greetings and entered a small building where Zhu Hu, Zhu Yu, and Luo Feng shared a banquet. Zhu Hu praised Luo Feng's rapidly rising reputation, but Luo Feng remained humble. Zhu Hu then presented a green jade vial containing exactly 2 million cosmic sands as payment for the mechanical stream secret treasure, the sword of the world's core. After confirming the amount, Luo Feng handed over the treasure. The successful transaction made the atmosphere much friendlier. And after the banquet, Luo Feng departed with Morosa aboard his flying boat. After Luo Feng left, a gentle woman named Lord Wei appeared beside Zhu Hu. Zhu Hu handed the sword of the world's core to her and asked whether her secret observations had revealed anything about Luo Feng. Lord Wei said Luo Feng gave her a unique feeling and that among all the talented individuals she had encountered during her travels through the cities of Yu Kingdom, he was the most extraordinary. After obtaining the treasure, she took her leave, while Zhu Hu remained eager to maintain a good relationship with her due to her powerful background. Over the following days, Luo Feng sold much of his war spoils to the trading associations of Huyang City and accumulated 3.3 million cosmic sands. However, he needed approximately 3.6 million cosmic sands, plus additional reserves, to complete 3 body refinement sessions. Although he possessed valuable treasures such as the mechanical stream secret treasures Lifeblood River and myriad realms escape command, eternal true god equipment, exotic beast materials, and remaining blood of Yi beast, he did not want to sell his most valuable possessions. Since he lacked just over 300,000 cosmic sands, he decided to accept another bounty mission, choosing a target who truly deserved death to maintain his deterrence over the powerful criminals of Huyang City. Before he could choose a mission, Mo Meng urgently contacted him, informing him that the Shi Kingdom's forces had captured several formation masters and that Shang Tianyan of the Heavenly Flame sect might be in danger. Since Shang Tianyan had become Luo Feng's only true friend in Huyang City after more than 20 years of interaction and often helped him solve problems regarding body refinement, Luo Feng immediately ordered Moyu Qingyan to guard his cave mansion and rushed to the Heavenly Flame sect with Morosa. At the Heavenly Flame sect, Shang Tianyan explained that 8 eternal true god level formation masters had been captured simultaneously by a mysterious force. Most had been taken directly from their own cave mansions, showing the enemy possessed overwhelming power. Since the Shi Kingdom's forces were the only group capable and willing to carry out such an operation, they were considered the most likely culprits. These 8 formation masters had all participated in repairing the enormous city-wide formation of Huyang City, and Shang Tianyan was the only remaining one among the 9 masters involved. Shang Tianyan believed the Shi Kingdom's forces intentionally spared him because they did not wish to offend Luo Feng. However, this also caused the city lord's mansion to possibly suspect him of collaborating with the enemy. He had already contacted the city lord's mansion, but they stated that the captured masters' karmic messenger orders had been destroyed at the moment of their capture, preventing them from tracking their locations. Luo Feng suggested using their karmic marks to determine their whereabouts, but Shang Tianyan explained that only a primal chaos overlord or organizations like the Flamewind Pavilion could perform such a deduction, and the cost of 1 million cosmic sands was too high for the city lord's mansion to pay. Shang Tianyan could only lament that those involved in the conflict between major powers were helpless and that his friends' lives were now controlled by the Shi Kingdom. Inside a secret treasure space, Divine Monarch Shui Yun, Yushin Shu, Yushin Yi, and more than 10 eternal true gods interrogated the captured formation masters. The Shi Kingdom's forces in Huyang City were divided into 2 groups, the weaker team led by Chairman Zan Yun and the stronger force commanded by Divine Monarch Shui Yun. Through threats against their lives and clans, they forced all the captured masters to reveal everything they knew about the Huyang City formation. Among the 8, 1 had already been secretly working for the Shi Kingdom, while the remaining 7 eventually confessed. After obtaining the information they needed, Yushin Shu suggested killing all of the captives, but Divine Monarch Shui Yun decided to release 5 and execute 3. His purpose was to spread fear throughout Huyang City by demonstrating that serving the city lord's mansion carried terrible consequences while also showing that the Shi Kingdom could be merciful toward those who obeyed. The 5 selected survivors, including the formation master who had sided with them, were released that very night. Back at the Heavenly Flame sect, Luo Feng and Morosa continued drinking with Shang Tianyan as they waited for news. Suddenly, Shang Tianyan's expression changed after checking his karmic messenger order. He discovered that the karmic connections of 3 of his captured friends had suddenly disappeared, proving they had been killed. Although they had no ability to resist, the Shi Kingdom's forces still chose to execute them, leaving Shang Tianyan filled with grief and anger. At the city lord's mansion, 5 divine power incarnations gathered to discuss the sudden capture of 8 formation masters. Mo Shao stated that the forces of the Shi Kingdom had likely dispatched a group of top eternal true gods to accomplish such a feat. According to the 5 surviving formation masters, the enemy was investigating information related to the Huyang City formation map. However, the city lord did not believe this was their true objective, explaining that ordinary formation masters only handled repairs to small sections of the grand formation and possessed very limited knowledge of the complete map. Wu Kulu disagreed with the idea that their knowledge was insignificant. He pointed out that skilled formation masters like Shang Tianyan, despite only repairing small areas, had profound attainments in formations and could infer the general structure of the entire Huyang city formation through their understanding. Everyone present realized that the Shi kingdom's forces were likely preparing to target the city's grand formation itself. The leader of the Meiwu clan solemnly declared that this was only the beginning. Since Shui Yun had remained quiet for a long time, Mo Li Xiao believed this unusual large-scale movement was a serious warning sign. The group ultimately decided to report the situation to the Marquis and request reinforcements. Because once the Shi kingdom truly launched its plans, they feared they would no longer have the strength to resist. Unlike the previous incident involving Mei Wuqi slaughtering hundreds of millions of civilians, where they could not openly ask for assistance due to their own failure to conceal the matter. Requesting help against an external threat from the Shi kingdom was completely reasonable. Meanwhile, Luo Feng did not fully understand the hidden struggle between the city lord's mansion and the Shi kingdom. He remained temporarily at the Heavenly Flame sect, and his presence there was also a public declaration that he was standing behind Shang Tianyan. 2 days later, Luo Feng walked around the sect and watched the disciples refining secret treasure weapons. During his stroll, he encountered Moyu Lusheng, the third son of the Moyu family, who was teaching the younger disciples, although he had once been less talented in cultivation compared to his brothers. His talent in artifact refining was exceptional, allowing him to advance to the level of a void space true god with the support of sufficient resources. Among the 3 Moyu brothers, only Moyu Qingyan, who had followed Luo Feng, remained an ordinary true god. Luo Feng learned that Moyu Lusheng had married a senior sister from the Heavenly Flame sect, someone he had met after joining the sect. Seeing the happiness on Moyu Lusheng's face, Luo Feng joked that the Heavenly Flame sect seemed to suit him well. In the land of origin, where countless beings possessed endless lifespans and had no necessity to reproduce, marriage was actually an uncommon event. Only some extremely powerful beings with extraordinary bloodlines would deliberately produce descendants in order to continue their lineage. Moyu Lusheng expressed his gratitude, saying that the Heavenly Flame sect suited both his talents and his personality. While their master also provided careful guidance, their conversation was interrupted when Shang Tianyan hurried over with a serious expression. He informed Luo Feng that 3 of the 8 captured formation masters had already been killed, since they belonged to the same circle and were his close friends. Shang Tianyan had been paying attention to the situations of their families. He explained that 2 of those families had quietly been swallowed by Cloud Treasure Tower, a massive commercial power with branches across the major cities of the Yu Kingdom. Unlike smaller organizations such as the Heavenly Flame sect, which were established by individual artifact refiners, Cloud Treasure Tower dominated the market of mid- and low-level secret treasure weapons, making enormous profits through the countless true gods and void space true gods who needed such treasures. The local branch in Huyang City had taken advantage of the deaths of the formation masters, seizing their families' accumulated resources, materials, and businesses. Fortunately, they did not carry out a massacre. So although the families lost everything they had built over countless years, most of their members remained alive. The Feng family, however, suffered a far more tragic fate. They had become the prey of the 6 Lords Alliance, one of the 18 dark forces in Huyang City. Their core members were slaughtered in large numbers. Most of their resources were forcefully taken, and Lord Qifeng's 2 children were captured by the Thousand Eye Lord and brought to the headquarters of the 6 Lords Alliance. Shang Tianyan believed she intended to force them to reveal the inheritance and hidden resources their father had left behind. Since the 6 Lords Alliance would not care about his relationship with Lord Qifeng, Shang Tianyan could only ask Luo Feng for help. Hearing this, Luo Feng was displeased. The formation masters had originally been summoned to repair Huyang City's formation. And yet after their deaths, the city lord's mansion simply allowed their families to suffer such disasters. Shang Tianyan bitterly explained that the city lord's mansion had never truly cared about the lives of the eternal true gods who served them. Unless those cultivators completely surrendered themselves and became direct vassals, the city lord's mansion would not interfere in their personal tragedies. Luo Feng immediately agreed to handle the matter. With a glance, he signaled Morosa, who had been happily eating and drinking nearby. Morosa instantly understood his master's intention, and the 2 departed aboard the flying boat, heading directly toward the headquarters of the 6 Lords Alliance. Inside the dark and gloomy headquarters of the 6 Lords Alliance, The Thousand-Eye Lord was interrogating the two surviving children of Lord Kefeng. She calmly told them that carrying their father's treasures was not a blessing but a disaster. She revealed that she had previously demanded the Kefeng family hand over their resources voluntarily. But their refusal had resulted in the death of most of their clan members. Now she demanded that the siblings contact the Flame Wind Pavilion and transfer the resources their father had secretly stored there. If they obeyed, she promised they would live, otherwise, they would die and everything would be lost. As one of the leaders of a dark organization, the Thousand-Eye Lord constantly searched for wealthy targets. After Lord Kefeng's death, his two children became valuable prey. She even felt fortunate that she had acted quickly. Because if she had hesitated, other dark forces might have seized them first. At that moment, Luo Feng and Morosa arrived outside the Six Lords Alliance headquarters. Morosa eagerly asked whether they should simply attack their way inside. But Luo Feng did not even bother to answer. He took a single step forward, immediately triggering the headquarters formation, which unleashed its suppressive power in an attempt to tear him apart. However, Luo Feng's own invisible force effortlessly crushed the power of the formation. As he walked into the headquarters with Morosa, he instantly located the Thousand-Eye Lord and recognized the Kefeng siblings from the information Shang Tianyan had provided earlier. Lord Bai Wu of the Six Lords Alliance noticed his arrival and called out respectfully. But Luo Feng ignored him. With another step, he shattered walls and barriers throughout the headquarters and appeared directly before the Thousand-Eye Lord. The Thousand-Eye Lord was shocked by his overwhelming arrival but still forced herself to greet him politely. The other two eternal true gods of the Six Lords Alliance, Lord Bai Wu and Captive Wind Lord, also rushed over and behaved extremely respectfully, not daring to offend a being who had previously killed the Blood Python Association leader. Luo Feng looked at the Thousand-Eye Lord and asked directly whether she was responsible for attacking the Kefeng family. She immediately tried to defend herself, claiming that she had merely protected Lord Kefeng's children and that she was not the one who had killed their family members. Before she could continue her lies, the elder of the two Kefeng siblings, despite his fear, pointed at her and shouted that she was the murderer. The Thousand-Eye Lord was shocked and furious at their accusation. But before she could explain further, Luo Feng had already made his move. Knowing that she had no chance to escape peacefully, the Thousand-Eye Lord instantly revealed her true body, a gigantic, twisted creature covered with more than 1,000 strange eyes capable of launching terrifying soul attacks. Yet her resistance was meaningless before Luo Feng. With a simple strike, his hand pierced through her enormous body, shattered her true god's heart, and killed her instantly. The massive corpse collapsed, and Luo Feng casually stored it away. The sight left Lord Bai Wu and Captive Wind Lord terrified. The Thousand-Eye Lord was a powerful eternal true god, yet she was killed so easily that she could not even resist for a moment. Luo Feng then turned his gaze toward the two remaining leaders and asked whether they had participated in the slaughter of the Kefeng family, understanding that a single incorrect answer would likely lead to their deaths. Both immediately denied having any involvement. After Luo Feng destroyed Thousand-Eye Lord, the members of the Six Lords Alliance were terrified and did not dare approach. Lord Bai Wu and Captive Wind Lord hurriedly explained that the incident with the Kefeng family was entirely Thousand-Eye Lord's decision. They claimed they had even advised her not to go too far because the family belonged to an eternal true god. But she ignored them and acted recklessly. Luo Feng stated that his intelligence confirmed Thousand-Eye Lord was the one directly responsible, so they might avoid death. However, he still punished the 5 eternal true gods of the Six Lords Alliance, demanding 300,000 cosmic sand in exchange for their lives. The two were relieved to survive but considered the amount too great, as each of the 5 would have to contribute 60,000 cosmic sand. They attempted to negotiate, saying they had spent many resources on cultivation and treasures and had not participated in the Kefeng family matter. Luo Feng mocked the dark forces for trying to reason with him, reminding them that they constantly hunted innocent beings for their own benefit without justification. He declared that none of those killed among the dark forces were innocent and that although he could not control all evil in the land of origin, anyone who offended him would face his punishment. Because they tried to bargain, he increased the price of their lives to 500,000 cosmic sand and gave them 1 day to prepare. Terrified, Lord Bai Wu and Captive Wind Lord immediately accepted without further argument. Luo Feng also ordered them to deliver a message to the three eternal true gods of the Cloud Treasure Pavilion. Since they had taken the resources of the two formation master families but had not committed massacres, their punishment would also be 500,000 cosmic sand within 1 day. Knowing that Cloud Treasure Pavilion had to suffer the same punishment made the two members of the Six Lords Alliance feel slightly better. After Luo Feng left with the surviving Feng family siblings and Morosa, Lord Bai Wu and captive Wind Lord lamented their situation. They blamed Thousand Eye Lord for provoking an eternal true god's family and causing all of them to lose a huge amount of wealth. They also blamed Lord Luan for forcing them to negotiate with Luo Feng, which caused the fine to increase from 300,000 to 500,000 cosmic sand. When the Cloud Treasure Pavilion's master and two deputy masters received the message, they were furious because they relied on the prestige of Heavenly Treasure Marquis and were respected throughout Huyang City. However, they understood they could not report the matter to the Marquis because their private seizure of the two families' resources was illegal, and the Marquis would punish them. Furthermore, the Marquis was too occupied with major affairs to care about a dispute among eternal true gods. For countless years, the Cloud Treasure Pavilion branch had secretly used its reputation to intimidate others and gain private profits. Since their official income was relatively small, although they considered 500,000 cosmic sand a devastating loss that would require selling treasures and equipment, they could only search for a solution themselves. The pavilion master went to seek help from Lord Wei, believing she could resolve the issue. But Lord Wei refused. She scolded them and ordered them to obediently pay the 500,000 cosmic sand because she believed Luo Feng would truly take action if they resisted. Realizing that even the 5 great families had been killed by Luo Feng and that Heavenly Treasure Marquis would not interfere, they reluctantly decided to divide the payment among themselves, though they argued over how much each person should contribute. Meanwhile, the Six Lords Alliance also struggled to gather 500,000 cosmic sand. News of Luo Feng's attack on their headquarters, his killing of Thousand Eye Lord, and his demands for compensation from both the Six Lords Alliance and Cloud Treasure Pavilion quickly spread throughout Huyang City. Many forces realized that even after decades of peace, Luo He's domineering personality had not changed. Within a single day, Lord Bai Wu and the Cloud Treasure Pavilion master personally visited Luo Feng at the Heavenly Flame sect. They respectfully presented jade vials containing 500,000 cosmic sand each and apologized for angering him. The Cloud Treasure Pavilion master also stated that the affairs involving the two formation master families had been properly settled. Luo Feng accepted the 1 million cosmic sand after confirming the amount was correct and dismissed them. The disciples of the Heavenly Flame sect and the rescued Feng family members witnessed two powerful organizations humbly paying compensation to Luo Feng without daring to show resentment, leaving a deep impression on them. Among the observers, Moyu Luxing's wife expressed regret that he had once had an opportunity to follow Luo Feng but gave it up. Moyu Luxing accepted his choice, saying his elder brother had followed Luo Feng instead and that his own path had led him to meet her at the Heavenly Flame sect. Later, Shang Tianyan walked with Luo Feng and expressed amazement that Luo Feng had obtained 1 million cosmic sand within a single day through his authority alone. Luo Feng said that although the 3 dead eternal true gods' families would suffer difficult times, he had benefited from the incident and should show generosity. He gave Shang Tianyan 30,000 cosmic sand to take care of those families. After Shang Tianyan accepted the responsibility, Luo Feng announced that he planned to enter seclusion for some time and warned Shang Tianyan to be careful. The wealth he had obtained was enough for him to proceed with the 3rd stage of body refinement.